So the book that we are going to review at a fairly high level is Ali Abdaal's Feel Good Productivity. He is one of my favorite YouTubers. Channel name is Ali Abdaal. Talks about a lot of different topics and is generally known as a productivity guru on social media. He's a smart cookie. He's basically a doctor. Did his medical studies at University of Cambridge, one of the world-renowned universities. So last weekend, if you guys remember, I did a review of Cal Newport's book titled How to Become a Straight A Student, and we extracted some practical advice from it and tried to learn from some main points that can be implemented from Ali Abdaal's book Feel Good Productivity. This particular book by Ali Abdaal, I noticed that I went through this pretty much as soon as it got released earlier this year. He's very good at organizing things. He's very good at communicating. He's very good at breaking, some complicated concepts, explaining them and putting them in context. But there wasn't anything revolutionary per se in this book, any brand new novel or original idea, I believe, other than the fact that if you enjoy what you are doing and try to, even if it's inherently not fun, if you can make it fun, if you can try and make it something that you look forward to, then on all aspects you are going to perform better. And especially if it is something that is important, high priority. And in our context, it's basically the exam preparation, right? FE electrical exam prep, PE power exam prep. I did this review with my PE power students earlier this morning, and they found it pretty helpful. So the first thing that is applicable to us is the 2-minute rule. Now, the 2-minute rule basically is designed, or he recommends deploying it in order to overcome inertia and procrastination. For example, I found myself, I'll speak for myself, so many times the days when I was like, okay, I'm gonna skip running, okay? Or I'm not gonna go to the gym, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna skip on my yoga session, I'm gonna skip on this or that. The thing is that when you get started, right, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna get into the motion, right? A lot of times I found myself carrying throughout. So his take is that if there's something that is not going to take a lot of your time, a lot of your focus, and if a task can be done in a couple of minutes, or if you want to break it down into a lighter version of that task, do it immediately. There's a lot of friction in our mind. A lot of times when you get started with things, it becomes easy. A few ways that you can incorporate this is that take a couple of minutes and note down, keep track of things that you found challenging, right? So create summaries, jot down questions for next session, jot down questions or follow-ups for the community post, right? So that you can get them clarified. You guys might have heard of this other author. She's pretty famous, Mel Robbins. She has a 5-second rule. She says that in the morning, the first 5 seconds when you wake up are crucial. You have the choice to push the snooze button, or if you have already planned something for the day, the difference really, whether it gets executed or not, is in the first 5 seconds. Pomodoro technique, a lot of you guys are probably familiar with this. It is similar to Cal Newport's intense study session recommendation. He mentioned about 40 to 50 minutes of focused studying without any distraction. Pomodoro technique, you can experiment with different time blocks, 25 to 30 minutes, 40 to 50 minutes, 50 minutes to 60 minutes. And then in between these sessions, take a 5-minute break. And the way it works is that, and there are different variations of it helps you not getting burned out. It helps the mind sort of stay in the zone and operate with higher focus and concentration. Another technique that I find really helpful, both for tasks that require sort of focused attention and also stuff primarily that is a little bit of overhead. I get tons of emails from my students for FE electrical and PE power. And as you guys know, I run these sessions parallel. A lot of folks are scheduled to take the exam in December. So, the anxiety level, stress level, generally speaking, amongst the students tend to be high when they have locked in a date. And that's a good thing because it sharpens your focus. So for me, dealing with the email questions, and those of you who have interacted with me over time or are starting to interact, I'm very responsive. I take care of my students. I do one-on-one calls with you guys, and whether it is on the community or direct emails that you reach out to me with, I tend to be pretty prompt The way I have started becoming a little bit more effective with my utilization of batch tasking is that I have set time during the weekdays and weekends when I tackle a lot of these similar tasks in a batch format. I'm sure that each and every one of you at work also gets bombarded with a couple of dozen emails every single day. So if you want to deal with them in a synergistic manner so that there is not a lot of residual attention lost between task switching, and you want to stay in that zone of tackling one email after another email, try and hold on to that particular activity and do it in one go, right? So maybe 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon, 1 hour in the evening, or 1 hour around noon time. These similar tasks can help you a lot, and you can sort of apply that to your study sessions as well. So the idea is that if you are not switching between tasks of different types of requirements, then chances are that you can be more effective. Ask for help. This is very important. Now there's a balancing act over here. During your exam preparation, leverage the resources that you have in the form of on-demand lectures, quizzes, the support that you get over the course of live training, real-time access to me during the classes, and also the community, right? Some of you guys are new to my program, have just recently signed up. In the kickoff meeting, you would have seen I gave an overview of how the community is organized. Don't be shy in asking questions, but I'd like to remind that a question well-defined contains half the answer. The other thing that I'm going to remind you is that the more you try and help others out, the sharper your understanding will become. One of the things that the teaching assistant pointed out to me is that some students post their solutions and request a review of their solutions, and they're like, where did I make mistake? This is not something that I feel is similar to asking for help. This is requesting to be spoon-fed. But don't wait until the exam day, right? Try and get things addressed, your concerns, your gaps, your clarifications, taken care of in a systematic, effective manner during your preparation. The last one is kind of, some of you might consider it a little bit wishy-washy, right? Mindfulness and meditation. I have always been very skeptical of soft skills, but over time I've realized that soft skills cannot be underestimated. Your ability to communicate. I mean, some people are naturally good at it, some people need to work on it. And for folks who are very black and white in terms of their approach, especially in the technical domain, are generally speaking a little bit uncomfortable. But spending time and effort, knowing that communication is not something that always came very naturally to me. I had to sort of work on multiple fronts: public speaking, one-on-one interactions, email writing, my written communication, my presentation skills and whatnot. It has helped me a lot. And more recently, it's mindfulness and meditation. Again, it can take different shapes and form. For some people, just walking is good enough as a meditation. I always found swimming was amazing. Runner's high is an example of where you are just zoned in, right? I use a couple of applications. This is a very good one, Headspace. It took me a couple of months to get really a hang of it. The other one is Waking Up. Headspace is much cheaper. It's sort of a lighter form of meditation. Waking Up is a little bit more expensive. I think it's $100 per year. But it's by a PhD, Sam Harris. This guy is a Stanford graduate, and it offers more than just meditation. So whether you just do breathing exercises or just take a break and disconnect from everything around you for even a minute, right, at regular intervals during the day, this actually is going to be very helpful during the FE Electrical and Computer exam and P-Power exam. I can guarantee you that. Okay. I've experienced this myself so many times, that if you just take a break, they say that when you want to write a nasty email back to somebody at work and whatnot, sleep on it, quite literally, right? Put a delay on your email, 24 hours, 12 hours, 10 hours, right? And you, in majority of the cases, you'll feel much better the following day and you'll be able to organize your thoughts, right? So that disconnect between your reaction and action, the trigger and the reaction, it can be incorporated by means of this. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. On a weekly basis, I'm creating content for FE Electrical and P-Power exam preparation. I also discuss topics related to electrical engineering with a focus on power systems engineering. If you'd like to learn more about my FE Electrical and P-Power exam preparation programs, please visit my website, studyforfe.com.